Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Hey everyone.
Not bada bing.
Welcome to the Let Her Cook podcast. I'm Molly Rose.
I'm Venus Rose.
And I'm KSK.
And we are here to talk about just the journey of being a woman in the music industry. And I actually met Venus darn near 10 years ago. Maybe like 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
But I think we knew each other before that from like the internet, and it's been really cool to watch her journey and kind of like go through this process with her and Kira as well. So if you want to like take a second to introduce yourself, what you do, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay. Let's see where to start. I started in the creative production industry in college, and college I had to intern, so I interned at the Source. I got the opportunity, and I created a platform called Style Sector, which was a segment for the Source at the time, and I interviewed different rappers that I felt resonated with impact over whatever the current state of music was. At the time, it was SoundCloud. The SoundCloud wave was very impactful, and
That was the SoundCloud time.
right. And even outside of SoundCloud too, like artists that were emerging at the time, and I saw them stepping into fashion. Like at around the time was Cardi B, and she was enhancing her image, her style. So I interviewed her, and from there I continued to create a lot of content with a lot of different music artists. And I began to hear people call me, an agency. So from there, of course I was in, great fear because I was still in college. But I kind of felt like that actually resonated with my interests and my abilities. So I just took the leap and created Haus of Creators, which is a creative production and marketing agency. And, once finishing things up at the Source and getting into my career post graduating from St. John's, I full force have been pushing since 2018, Haus of Creators. So at this state, I would call myself a brand director, but I've touched the fields of styling, creative direction, project management, public relations, brand partnerships. So at this point, I feel like, with all the hats that I wear, I would consider myself a brand director. So yeah, that's like a summary. I would
Fire.
say.
That's been like, it's been really cool to kind of, I watched you go through, like I met you at the internship at the Source.
Yeah.
Which was really, really fire. Actually, the reason why I was published for the first time and the Source is because of Venus.
Oh,
so we've done like
you.
some fun projects together. Okay.
So we start off the first question.
Yeah, can you pull it up?
Okay, so we're just gonna start keeping it light. Keep it light. The first one can be a little bit like, but what do you think is something that the guys, the cis men, like just don't understand about like our experience as a woman in the entertainment industry?
I could say,
Like, what's the one thing you wish you'd be like, listen, if I could make them understand this, like, things would be better.
Yeah, I could say that, the understanding of that they don't have to seek physical intimacy with every beautiful woman that they work with. Just because you find someone attractive doesn't mean it has to, be a part of the business, in simpler terms.
No, and and in some ways they have to understand that it actually ruins it actually ruins the business.
Yeah.
Like it compromises the business.
Yeah, it seems in many cases. I don't know everyone's story, but from what I've seen, I can't say I know someone who has successfully experienced that peacefully, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've like had situations where it's like I just felt like, well, I mean, I like actually pulled back on the business because I was like, I can't deal with this. projects.
Yeah.
And it's like projects that would have been way better were just like halted, stopped, derailed because like who wants to have to even deal with that in like a working environment? Like there's already moving parts, especially like in production. It's like the last thing you want is like, I'm worried about like the sun going down. I'm worried about like everyone being on time to their places. Like I don't have it in me to be like, oh, now I have to worry about how like I'm gonna get around you hitting on me. Like
right.
It's very exhausting.
And even if it was a mutual vibe, perhaps, but I would still say I don't want to be having to manage my emotions if I had to at the workspace. You know, on top of having to fulfill the job and having to be focused and, you know, dedicate the right amount of energy towards, you know, whatever you're working towards, and then to deal with a partner on set. You know, I feel like, I mean, it might work for some people, but I feel like for me, like it's kind of relieving to be able to, you know, step outside your partner and go do things that make you happy, you know, versus having to manage that relationship while trying to do what makes you happy in the workspace, I would say. But to each your own at the end of the day. But people are open to it. There are people that are open to it. I know we've seen a lot of celebrity couples or relationships or like popular business entrepreneur relationships, YouTubers. There's a lot of couples, but I think it's just about figuring out what works for you. I feel like what works for me is I like the separation, and I think some people just should accept that everyone's different when they're trying to work with them. Versus assuming like, I like the way you appear and I'm feeling your vibe. Like I'm gonna try, the next step, and the other person could be, like myself. Like I just want to get this job done. I don't want to, combine those worlds. But that's just me though, because like I said, it's plenty of people that date in this industry. I think the biggest thing is just making sure people's boundaries are respected. I think that's how you balance that out.
Yeah, facts. I think there's been recently a lot of discourse, especially today, around like the Cardi B and Offset relationship. And that's actually something that I know we've talked about in the past that we've both experienced for men, where it used to be that, women could get a stigma. Oh, if she has a certain opportunity, that, oh, did she sleep her way to get there? There's always that question. And now what we're seeing with more and more women coming into powerful positions and really like honing their careers, especially in the music industry, we're experiencing kind of men trying to do that with us. And I think it's been like, first of all, it's really crazy to watch, but two, it's like really sucks to experience, and that like kind of that like predatory behavior, like on a different level, like more so for resources than our bodies in that sense.
Yeah.
Well, even that goes to the next level too, where it's like you have to be, if you are a woman and you have your own brand, like you have to be aware that it's like not for nothing, Offset really hurt Cardi's brand.
Yeah.
Like that not only did he hurt like whatever, but it's like her as like a brand, like that, like everything she talks about, we're kind of just like, now that, and it's like, unfortunately, like you can date the wrong person as a woman in the industry. And like, now that comes under scrutiny. Like that's going to be like, now, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's scary to think that like this person could compromise your whole brand that you've gotten this far because he doesn't match the, it's like so many people come out where it's like, they're talking one way, like they present, this way, and then it comes out that they're like, they're not authentic to their brand because like of who they're dating. And like, it's like, and of course it doesn't work the other way. Like men can just date whoever and they're like not judged. But for us, it's like, that's another thing. Like they're just finding more things to kind of like scrutinize us for.
I think it's really a big responsibility, once you enter that type of work, as far as being a talent, it's a big responsibility that people have to consider. And then, we have to give them empathy too, because they're regular people at the end of the day. They just have a spotlight on them.
And we're all pretty
However,
young too.
yeah, and it's just like, we have to think like, whenever I feel like I wouldn't say everyone, but you experience once in a lifetime, I think at least, a troubling relationship. And imagine if the spotlight was, over you during that period. Yeah, I'm just so thankful when it was my turn to go through that. There was no spotlight. Because, that's why, it's good to be able to have the separation, for an example, of saying if you live with your partner and you guys are, because I feel like too, working with a partner, there can be healthy experience, but then too, it's like, sometimes it's, I can say it can be peaceful when you and your partner, y'all go to different jobs during the day and then y'all come and see each other at the end of the night,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's like, because I can go to my workspace and I can be around my people and be in my vibe and not, I can be disconnected from the responsibility of being a good partner, because I feel like being a good partner takes a lot of, it's a job itself. And I can only imagine like, trying to work on set for my perception, and then have my partner there and I'm trying to make sure, they're comfortable. I feel like it's a big responsibility. I like the fact that I can go somewhere and create, and then I can be around other people. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and then you have to I kind of like work as a distraction a lot of times.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you have to work with your partner, you don't get that the opportunity to have a second,
Yeah, I had a recent experience because I'm dating someone now, and we did an event together, which business for the first time in my career. I've never cost those type of, and it wasn't a bad experience because I'm at a very healthier space, I would say. I think I'm at a very healthy point right now in my life. And emotional intelligence is very important, but we were able to accomplish that, and it's like experience a new light. Like, I mean, I guess a new light, like a perception, because before, especially in the past, I would think like, oh no, I would never collaborate on a business project with a partner. But me being at a healthier space, I feel like I've attracted a healthier person, and I'm seeing from that experience, it did work,
And now.
But I think it's two healthy people. I'm not perfect, and I feel like working on myself is like a forever experience. But I feel like I'm at a good space now, and I'm seeing things differently. Like when you're at a good space, when both people are at a good space coming together versus two traumatized people or two distracted people coming together,
Yeah, those things can be really fun when everyone is healed going into the situation.
Yeah, and also on a case by case basis. Like if it's just one case, it's kind of nice to be
exactly.
A fun little,
that too. Yeah,
versus
I
a daily
really
grind.
I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine that. Yeah,
because of course it's fun to do one. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Let's keep it,
keep it fun. Let's keep it cute. Let's keep it short.
Cute.
Yeah.
Very
cute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I love learning that about you that you didn't know. So shifting a little bit. We've gotten to work on a few projects together, but I love that throughout your journey that you've always tried to include women in what you're doing. What are some things you like about working with women?
I never really thought directly that I was particularly seeking women.
Mm-hmm.
When you said that, I just did like a that's sort of a flashback. Yeah, I was like, oh, I do work out. But what I can say, working with women, I think women, from what I've learned from women in the industry, it's a different type of structure in terms of organization, logistically. I've learned, and communication too. I feel like women are more in tune with their emotions, and when I came up working with a lot of men, I was very cutthroat with my communication because that's how men talk to each other. But there was an experience recently in which I was talking business with a lady, and it hurt her feelings. And I was literally just getting straight to the point. But I shared it with friends, and they were like, "Ooh," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, and then when I reflect on the way I talk, it's like I remember like starting to work with men and group chats with men, and they're like so hard with their language, and then I'd be like, "Oh," and then they'll be like, "It's just business, Venus. So, why are you so like emotional? Like, stop being emotional." And it made me like disconnect. I'm like, "Oh, I'm emotional. Like, oh, okay. I'm not. Oh, okay. So I'm not supposed to take nothing personal." So that's what I was taught, and working with a woman, it helped me understand a different perspective, because it's not really, you can say all of the right things, but it's about the delivery. And I don't want a person to feel like I'm talking down on them, because that's not my intention. But it can come across like that when you're so straightforward and stern, and if you're communicating from a disconnected point, which can happen when you're doing business.
Like we can be. What I like about it is I can be soft, because that truly is me.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I agree that like I did have, and I work with mostly women now, so I get to be in that zone a lot more. But before, when I was working with men more, it was kind of daunting that I would have to be like very straightforward, but also I experienced hurting men's feelings quite a bit too.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. Is I had the opposite experience. I thought men needed a lot more babying. Like, I feel like I can be more straightforward with women.
That's interesting.
Like,
okay.
I feel like I can be more. Yeah, I feel like I can be more. I mean, I don't know, but like, because I feel like sometimes men would just get randomly very personally like offended by like.
Yeah, especially if they like you.
They want you to.
Yeah, especially if they have a crush on you and they're working with you, they're gonna take everything personal. Yeah, like I've experienced that a lot, where it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, oh, but you're talking to me, Venus. And it's like, what? Like, who are you?
Like, we're just working. We're just
working. Right. Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying though too.
I found there's a lot of like kind of like not emotionally manipulating. That's true, but maybe like slightly.
Yeah.
Like to be like, like I know what they emotionally want, so it's like let me like baby them a little bit so we can just like keep the project.
Like I felt like I would get more like, it's like it seemed like they wanted to work with me because they wanted someone that could be a pushover type of energy.
Yeah,
and so
I
they would
get
mad
too.
when I'd be like, no, this is serious. We're getting this popping. That's not happening.
Right.
And then they get like offended. I
like,
probably dealt with that more in like artist management.
Right.
It probably depends on like who your audience is, but it's been it's a spectrum.
Right.
No, it definitely is, and it's just interesting because like a lot of things, not just gender, like inform like your communication style. There's a lot of factors, age, like where like what you're like, if you're their boss, if you're the client, like there's lots of like different nuances to it, but like it's definitely a challenge, and it's definitely interesting.
I was gonna ask you, because I'm curious, something that I don't know much about what you do yet, which I want to know now, is AI sector, because I know you had House of Creators, which is more of like the production, the PR, the creative direction, but then you completely pivoted and gone into tech now. So tell me about that journey. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel like I got more so involved in tech during the pandemic, when we had the NFT boom and everyone was introduced to the blockchain. I would say majority of the population was introduced to the blockchain around then, because there's people that were deeply invested before then. That's why crypto even existed, before that wave. But producing an NFT campaign from an idea, a nostalgic idea that I created, and I worked with a graphic designer, and then collaborated with one of my friends who works in tech. He helped me code and generate the NFTs. But, being introduced to that realm of things and seeing how art is evolving, and just the royalties game of owning assets and still having ownership of your artwork even when it's resold, and it being tracked on the blockchain, and you being able to authenticate your work because of the blockchain, yeah, that just, opened up my mind to a different level, and just the future of technology and utilizing technology as an artist. And then that's where the idea of the AI sector came last summer. And I wanted to initially create it as like a creative tech community that bridged the gap between there's the creatives in the creative world, and then there's creatives in the tech world. So I wanted to create a community for that. And I did the launch party in April during NFT week at this Web3 hub. It's similar to like a Wall Street, and it's called Station 3, but it houses like a bunch of blockchain companies and different, developers and stuff like that. So I was hanging out there a lot in the wintertime, and then you got to utilize the space for the event. So I launched the first magazine, which was AI Sector. We do quarterly magazines now. So that was the spring edition, just dropped the summer edition, I believe 2 weeks ago. And I'm just continuing to build from there. And it's just the tech sector of Haus of Creators. And all that is, pretty much doing is bridging the creators with the tech space, and also bringing data to Haus of Creators. So, yeah, so that I understand we're in a data game right now. I see the transition with the record labels. I've been working with record labels since 2018, and I'm seeing now that everything is about data. I'm seeing a lot of the general creative and marketing teams are being replaced with tech people. And there was a big cut with Atlantic Records and Warner,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe over 500 people, if I'm exact, but
yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. I mean, the Atlantic, I don't know, it might be Atlantic or Warner in time. There is so much debt because, well, I'm assuming they, really indulged in the TikTok or social media viral acts, and I don't think they got their ROI for all of from investing in all of that. So here we are today, and I think tech can predict, tech can assist, and bringing the data and providing data to particular investments can help make better investments. So if you replace the old system with the current time right now, which is bringing in the people that are data driven.
Do you feel like the TikTok thing, or that just using that virality was sort of like a band-aid instead of diving deep into the actual data?
Exactly.
Is that kind of
and I think it's trial and error right now. So now, for an example, Atlantic Records or Warner, they're seemingly bringing in tech people to clean up the lack of deep dive into what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at these superficial numbers, but not really digging into the impact and what it takes to maintain the brands of these type of artists. Exactly, because a lot of the times, from what it seems, the artists aren't really experienced artists, and they don't really know what it takes to maintain a career. Like, it's easy to come across a bunch of money, or it's easy to get the opportunity to be in spaces to make a lot of money, but it's just like, once you get it, it's a lot of work to maintain it and also evolve, because things change. Brands have to evolve. Understanding a brand identity, understanding how powerful a brand is, understanding how powerful a community is, all of that is a part of maintaining a business. It's very easy to create a business, but it takes experience, skill, and strategies, and the right team and the right connections to maintain the business, to anything to continuously flourish with the times.
Yeah, that's really good insight. I'm really glad that.
I'm like, this is very interesting because that's very real. It's like
what I figured was happening.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense, because it's like these, and it's true. It's like you're not really. You have access to all this data, but no one knows how to study it also.
Yeah.
The data's all there, but it's like, who is studying it? And then
I think that's what they're doing now.
Because it's true. Like, there's a lot more factors than just someone being able to go viral on TikTok.
I mean, that's just like someone winning the lottery that is not financially literate and they win $1 million. Like, you know how fast they're gonna, like, think about all the artists who got record deals but wasn't financially literate and how fast they blew through their money.
Or the fact that they didn't understand it was a loan. And
exactly, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, there you go. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like you can get it. You can get an opportunity, but can you maintain it and can it stand the test of times? You know, it makes me think about a Drake song, Pound Cake. What was the little dialogue when it was like, here today, gone tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, like that's so real. You know, and you think about the elite artists, like the realm of the Travis Scotts and Kanye's and them, and it's such a small space for those. It's tons of artists, but it's not many that's in that realm. You know what I'm saying? That realm is like really what determines if you really are a celebrity versus a sensation. It's like breaking that, but in order to break that, you have to show that you can stand the test of time. You have a strong, superior brand and community, and you know you have the right players that keep helping, like you know that continues to assist in your evolution to withstand and get to that level. You know, it's so many artists we've seen that came and you know they were hot and then you never heard from them again, or you may see them, but the brand did not evolve and the brand got left in a certain era. Like I can think of tons of SoundCloud rappers who came up around, you know, Lil Uzi and Playboi Carti, but their peak was SoundCloud. A lot of people, I forgot. You know, that whole era, like Father and
Coleman's coming back a little bit actually.
Yeah, I think he always has made good music, but it's just about being an international brand takes a whole different type of team and skill. Like I'm saying, anyone can make great music, but like, what is your marketing plan? You know? And then your marketing plan, you have to have the right people that's going to continuously evolve that marketing plan as well. You know, because you can't do the same tactics that you did in 2018 in 2024. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely we only have a couple minutes left, but we've definitely seen it with Ice Spice. How that's a great example of someone who has just capitalized on that moment. And I'm actually astonished about how fast, because I even saw her on stage the other day, and her stage presence from just a few months ago has completely evolved. So
that's so good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, she has I can see she has a great team, especially on the branding side. You know, putting her with Dunkin' Donuts, that was such a great collaboration. You know, it looked good, it's cute. And I think just everything that they, you know, the right placement of artists she's chosen to be with, you know, from Nicki to Taylor, you know.
Yeah. Well, that was 30 minutes. We get to chatting.
You know, it's super interesting. Very interesting.
But thank you so much for coming on our show. So tell us where we can find you on. Share all your socials and websites.
Personally, you can find me Venus Rose on Instagram, _Venus Rose on Twitter, and then Haus of Creators on everything, which is HAUS, Haus of Creators. Creators with an S, ends with an S. And then AI Sector on Instagram, AI.sector on IG.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Yeah, we should just start the podcast.